Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 16 of Business Chunautiyan. The last 15 episodes, we brought you stories, opportunities, challenges, and has been one of the top line programs that we have done at the association with the maximum viewership from the trade. An association which is 72 years old with 13 regional committees, only for the entrepreneurs in the business of HVAC&R. We are principally the voice of the MSME in the HVAC&R industry. One of the biggest forums that we have built in the association is the manufacturing forum. This event has been this event has also been done by Mr. Sachin Maheshwari, who's helped me put this together. He was also the head of the National Forum for Manufacturing. Welcome, Sachin. Good to have you back here.
Thanks, Ajit, and welcome to all the viewers. So as you mentioned, I think a couple of months back, we thought of creating a forum where we can connect all the MSME manufacturers in the field of HVAC&R. And it is something which has never happened before. So I think it did receive a lot of positive response. We could connect more than 200 members immediately. And I think since then, we have been interacting regularly, finding common issues, agendas, and have been working on this. So it has been really quite an exciting time for all of us. Back to you.
Yes. So I guess as under the Atmanirbhar program, we are going to play a very active role as far as manufacturing is concerned. So today's episode is also about a success story in manufacturing. And we have Mr. Jasbir Singh here. I'm going to read this profile to you, and I'm not going to miss a single word out of it, what I have. So it's going to be a real detailed one, but it is a very interesting one. So Mr. Jasbir Singh is the chairman and chief executive officer of Amber Enterprises India Limited. He holds a bachelor's degree in production engineering, industrial production from Karnataka University, and master's in business administration from the University of Hull, United Kingdom. He's serving the board of Amber since 1st October 2004 and was appointed as chairman and chief executive officer of the company from 25th August 2017. He has more than 18 years of experience in the RAC manufacturing sector. He successfully converted the business model from sheet metal fabrications to the leading manufacturer of room air conditioners and a dominant player in functional component space in consumer durable industry. Through his unique additive manufacturing solution strategy of providing comprehensive integrated solutions like electronics, heat exchangers, case liners, MWO cavities, finished goods like window ACs, split ACs, inverter AC at the doorstep of customers. He enabled the company to take leadership position in RAC manufacturing sector. Mr. Jasbir Singh expanded the manufacturing footprints from a cozy town of Punjab named Rajpura to pan-India presence, having 15 manufacturing plants in the vicinity to customer clusters in states of Uttarakhand, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab. He has played a key role in both organic and inorganic growth of the company through 4 acquisitions. In his journey of 18 years with Amber, he helped raise 3 private equity rounds, gave successful exits, and took the company public on 30th January 2018. He's co-chair, FICCI Committee on Electronics and White Goods Manufacturing, honorary secretary of CEAMA, and co-chair of Consumer Durable Committee, ICEA. He has been awarded with the title of Man of Appliances by Consumer Electronics and Appliances Manufacturing Association, CEAMA, in November 2018. Now, if you think that profile is very impressive, check out the company that he's built.
The Amber Group is a leading integrated solutions provider in room air conditioning and commercial air conditioning for Indian Railways, metro coaches, buses and defense equipment. It also manufactures critical reliability components for air conditioners and consumer durables at its 15 manufacturing facilities and serves all marquee customers. In the air conditioners segment, Amber offers a comprehensive product portfolio encompassing air conditioners for homes, commercial establishments, railways, metro coaches and defense equipment. The group's customer base includes most of the top room air conditioner brands. Many of these customer relationships are long-term, spanning more than 5 years. The portfolio also includes functional reliability, critical components with long approval cycles. In fact, Amber is one of the leading manufacturers and suppliers of critical components, not just for the HVAC segment, but also for other consumer durables. This growth story is built upon both organic and inorganic factors. The company added new customers and made certain strategic acquisitions, namely Sidwal, an air conditioner manufacturing company for mobile application, Ilgin, and electronics designing and manufacturing company, and PICL, a motor manufacturing company. Sidwal is the mobile air conditioning solutions manufacturing subsidiary of Amber. It is a leading player in its domain of air conditioning for railway coaches, metro coaches, defense equipment and buses. Ilgin is the electronics manufacturing subsidiary of Amber. Today, Ilgin is a market leader in the manufacturing and assembly of PCBs and offers a wide range of products for diverse applications spanning air conditioners, washing machines, televisions, mobile phones, microwave ovens and automobiles. PICL manufactures electrical motors and is a fully owned subsidiary of Amber. The company has emerged as a dominant manufacturer in India for induction motors for the HVAC segment. It has an annual capacity for producing over 3 million motors across more than 200 models. PICL also exports its products to overseas customers. The extensive manufacturing infrastructure of the Amber Group is spread across 15 facilities. These are strategically located close to customers' operational hubs, thereby facilitating just-in-time deliveries and faster turnaround time cycles. The production facilities at Amber are geared to produce a wide range of products and components, including room air conditioners for railway and metro coaches, buses and defense equipment, heat exchangers, multi-flow condensers, extrusion and vacuum formed components, sheet metal, copper tubing, injection molding, electronics PCB and electrical motors. These manufacturing facilities are ISO 9001 and 14001 certified and have a very high degree of backward integration and are supported by extensive R&D capabilities, thereby giving Amber a competitive edge as an original design manufacturer, along with the ability to collaborate with customers for the development of new products and innovative value additions. The group's R&D infrastructure is backed by more than 100 engineers, continuously working on new designs in accordance with customer and market requirements for air conditioners, motors and electronic PCBs. Amber has a fully equipped development center for air conditioners at Rajpura with NABL accredited testing labs, along with dedicated R&D labs at its motors, PCB and mobile air conditioners manufacturing facility. The success of the Amber Group is, in a sense, due to its belief in its values of good intentions and leadership through innovation. A culture focused on innovation is embedded in the organizational DNA of Amber. This is fostered and nurtured through extensive training initiatives that encompass the entire workforce. The innovation team continuously educates its people to outperform others in quality, productivity, innovation, and customer expectations. These facets have been recognized and widely awarded by our valued customers. Manufacturing excellence, unmatched service, precision engineering, continuous innovation, and responsive customer centricity. These attributes sum up the essence of the Amber Group. Leadership through innovation.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Jasbir ji, for joining us today and taking time out for our members.
Thank you for having me today on the show. Thank you very much.
What a fabulous story. And you'll be surprised when we actually said that you're coming on the show. We declared this about 3 weeks ago. You have no idea the kind of messages that have come, the kind of questions that have come, and your true inspiration for people aspiring to be in manufacturing, not just for the HVAC industry, but for every entrepreneur who aspires to be into manufacturing as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat program, people who believe in it. Thank you so much for coming here to share your journey today with us. So, Jasbir ji, before we first thing, it's almost 1.5, 2 years now with the COVID, and that's affected our industry big time. How's it been with you for the COVID times? How have you managed it, and what have your challenges been, or how have you coped up with this? Why don't you share this with us?
Ajit, this is the first time ever I think all of us witnessed this grinding halt kind of a situation in businesses, and where everything came to a stop. And we being into a seasonal industry, which is highly seasonal, and being at the peak of the season, we were left with a lot of inventories, and it was like a shock to everybody, not only us, but to our customers and to retailers, to distributors, everybody. But interestingly, once the lockdowns started opening up, we saw a pent-up demand coming up for this product. And largely people were, working from homes. So I think this product came up with a very strong this. So there was almost about 2.2 million air conditioners were blocked when this thing came to a grinding halt situation. But in Q2 and Q3, the inventory got liquidated, and Q4 was a very strong quarter for the industry, where industry almost witnessed close to about 18 to 20% jump over a quarter-to-quarter basis. So overall, last year industry shrunk by almost about 25 to 30%. From 7 million, it came to almost about 5.2 or 5.5 range. But then April was going fine. Then again, similar thing happened. But this time, because of the learning curves of the last year, I believe, inventory levels were a little less than what it was last time. So, but this time we saw a different kind of a trend. It's not a pent-up demand, I would say, but because this pandemic second wave, a lot of lives were lost. So it was pretty depressing. And when such kind of things happen, sentiments go down. And this is a product which is somewhere connected to sentiments. And because of negative sentiments, May was not a good month. June was okay. I mean, it started, but July has been a very positive month for the industry. So I would say that, from though this industry is expected to grow by around 13 to 14% as per many research reports available, like Boston Consulting Report is available, Frost and Sullivan is available. So we have already crossed the inflection point, because this is a product which is linked with a per capita income. And if you see the study history of all the developed nations, as soon as the per capita income touches $2,000, this product start moving up. This is one product which is unlike other consumer durables like refrigerator or washing machine is required one in a household. It doesn't apply to institutions. You don't need washing machines in the classrooms, but you need air conditioners in the classroom, or restaurants or salons, or somewhere else. So almost about 20 to 25% sales come from the institutions also. So we are looking forward on a long-term basis. We are very optimistic, and our conviction in our for HVAC story, especially in the room AC as well as commercial AC, is very strong. So I would say that yes, we did learn a lot of things in the COVID, but long-term view has not changed. So we remain very bullish and optimistic for this sector.
Amazing. During COVID times also, I mean, what I really like is, okay, COVID times is there, we handled it, but we're looking ahead. We're looking ahead. And and I think that's a great message for all of us out here. But Jasbirji, at 1990, you went public with your company. Not many of us have done it in our industry. Share with us, with our viewers, the entire journey of Amber. What motivated you to get even into the HVAC segment, and what are the challenges? Because manufacturing in our country is never, especially in the HVAC business, I don't think that we're heavily import dependent. So share with our members as to this entire journey. How did it actually all happen? How did you get right from sheet metal fabrication in a small town in Punjab to setting up this large company? Please to share with us.
Well, Ajit, I mean, it's a small story. There are thousands of stories like us available in the country, but we were into sheet metal fabrications, and when I joined my father's business, so he started the business, and we were primarily focused into giving sheet metal solutions for tractor industries as well as telecom equipment industry, which was near to Rajpura where we belong to. And I was mandated to bring some new vertical or a new business sector, because so first thing which I realized was that we are geographically dislocated. Rajpura is not a auto cluster. It is not a consumer durable cluster also. And if we want to expand into our own sector, which is sheet metal, we need to expand into various geographies. That was first thing. And then gradually, we started supplying sheet metal components to air conditioning industry. Specifically, we started giving window air conditioners cabinets, and then outdoor unit cabinets. That's how it started. And then I started studying this whole sector very, I would say, into granularity, and mapping the whole data points from various countries, how product has moved. And we saw that there's a potential, but we cannot leverage that potential while sitting in Rajpura. So the first opportunity we became OEMs for various customers in 2004. And where in OEMs, we don't add any value because it's just putting screws together. Largely, the supply chain is controlled by the brands. And but because we were into sheet metal, we requested them that we want to add value to the whole supply chain. We just don't want to put screws together, and there's no value addition as engineers, which we want to be going forward. So we got an opportunity to backward integrate by few of our customers. So we started with heat exchangers. Then we graduated into plastic injection molding, and then to fans, and then finally we bought a motor company. And when air conditioning industry was graduating towards inverter air conditioners, then we saw that electronics is going to play a major role coming forward, because a lot of connected devices are required, and energy efficiency can be sought through electronics in the product, and that vertical was missing. So we acquired a Korean company named Ilgin and Ever lately, and we became the largest backward integrated solution provider in the country while being OEMs. But then in 2012, we saw some of the brands losing market shares, because 2009 is when Japanese came into our country. All these brands, I would say, Daikin, Mitsubishi, Toshiba, Panasonic, they were not available in the country till 2008. 2009 is when they started stepping stones and putting their foot in Indian markets. And then I think 2011 is when we saw some disruptions by them, eating away the market shares of other brands. So OEM model was not a sustainable model, because once your customer starts losing market shares, it was not industry was growing, but that was, so we thought that we need to opt for two strategies. If we want to mitigate this brands exchanging market shares between them. So two strategies were that since we were backward integrated, we realized that the air conditioners which were not being produced by us, they also need functional components very next door to them. And there was a big vacuum for a good supplier who's very focused in quality, cost, delivery, safety, and innovation. And we requested our customers; they were very happy to give us these kind of opportunities, and we started spreading our factories near to the customer clusters. That's how all these 15 factories have come up gradually in last 1 decade. So that was one strategy, and we started supplying heat exchangers, motors, PCB boards, sheet metal, injection molding, whatever the customer needs. We are like one-stop solution provider to a customer. Second strategy which we opted was that we used to see in 2010-11 a lot of brands used to go to China and bring the whole boxes labeled under their names, and primarily they were not buying from India because there was no big supplier available who had a wide product range available and who was cost competitive. So we started building our capabilities around it by investing in R&D. So we started with just 2 engineers, and today I'm glad to share that it's a team of 156 engineers. We develop our own tools. We do complete solutions from end to end. And since we were giving solutions, so we started offering end-to-end solutions in the finished goods space also. So when we sit in front of a customer, we've never sold air conditioners, to be honest. We just sit as a solution provider. If they want air conditioner, we are happy to give them air conditioners. If they want semi-air conditioners, maybe kits or assemblies, we are happy to do them. Or if they want just components, we are happy to do them. So that's been the strategy, and it's been I would say, a positive strategy. Now, one of the leading manufacturer having about 24% market share of the sector manufacturing of India, and and in components. Once we started giving components in the room AC category, we realized that there is a potential in non-AC categories also. Similar components are required in refrigerator, washing machine, microwaves, etc., etc. So we started giving those solutions also. So now almost about 22 to 23% of the console balance sheet revenue comes from the non-AC sector. That's been our journey. I mean, happy to go for it. So it's
Amazing journey.
Interesting.
But when you had the task of starting a new business vertical, why do you choose the HVAC? Because you chose it at a time when this industry was very nascent, manufacturing wasn't there, it was important. Why did you choose the HVAC industry? Now it's a hot sector, but not anymore then. I mean, how did that happen?
Ajit, in those days, what used to happen was that there was a concept of bringing a kit of window air conditioner, putting a reciprocating compressor in it, and then supplying it. So we attempted that, to be honest, that we will make a kit, and then we get a Kirloskar kit or say compressor and fit it into it, and as many of us used to do it, in those days. And but then I realized very soon that 1997-98 was time when Indian government opened their FDIs, and 100% FDIs were allowed. And Electrolux, Whirlpool, LG, Samsung had come into India and started establishing their factories. So they started, I would say, eating the old brands, and the market was getting disrupted. Earlier there was a very big heavy air conditioner, window air conditioner, and they were the one who got rotary compressors into the country, and that transition was happening. So, and we being a very small company that also based out of Rajpura, it was very difficult for us to compete with them at that time with those volumes in hand. Like you are supplying, you are fighting with a company who's selling 5 lakh air conditioners versus you are at 1,000. So there was no comparison. So I opted for a strategy that if you can't beat them, join them. So
Amazing.
that was a strategy, and then we started requesting them that if you can give us opportunity for getting associated with you, let us go through that. If you find fit and fine, we can give you more solutions. So sheet metal of cabinet, window AC, complete cabinet, and the base pan was first components which we started with.
How amazing is that? Fabulous. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in our industry, and over the last 4-5 years, compliances has become very big. You in 2017, you decided to go public. I mean, any organization like the one which you started have scaled up early stages, there are always and most entrepreneurs in India are a little hesitant when it comes to compliances. But you decided to go public, which is, compliances galore. How did all that happen? Why did you decide to raise money from the public and go become and come under so much of scrutiny as far as an organization is concerned?
So Ajit, there is a difference in approach of doing business. If one is that you do business where you think that they are our vendors or they are our bankers. Other approach is to think that there are partners. So I have been a firm believer in partnership model. So even to bankers, we used to share everything transparently. So similar thing happened with our customers. And once you start becoming a supplier or a strategic partner to a multinational companies, then it's better that you do it world class, not only in quality and delivery, but in corporate governance, in your abiding the rules. So we were like that since beginning, I would say. And in the journey, when our balance sheet got stretched, because when you are a small company, you don't have those financial resources, but the hunger of growth is there. So banks only support you when your balance sheet is up to certain level, and they need collaterals when you are a smaller company. घर रख दो, ये रख दो, वो रख दो, everything, वो cycle भी रख दो. So but but yes, I mean, we were very focused that there is opportunities and we should not lose this opportunity. So because of just funding availability, we should not be able to say that I couldn't do it. So we started raising funds in 2012 from private equity players. And first private equity player came in 2012, and then 14 was our second round of private equity when we had to buy PICL motor company. And in 2017 is the third private equity came in. They bought out the earlier ones. So all of them got exit. But the third one kept this was in January 2017 when they infused 300 crores. And in the agreements, we agreed that in 5 years' time, we will take company public, or we will give them exit by a fourth round of private equity. Now, when you have to raise funds from public, you have to time it out also properly. So better timing is when you don't need funds, actually. So there was a lot of debate that it's hardly a year that you have raised your third private equity round. Company doesn't need that capital, but still, our aspirations of acquiring more companies and acquiring more businesses was there, and that sword was hanging that we have to take anyway company public. So we offered them that this is the right timing from our perspective, and if we don't get the valuation which we deserve, we can say no. There's a sunk cost of maybe 3-4 crore rupees, which we all agreed that that's okay. I mean, if we say no, then it will be no. So, but at least we can test the waters. And we were actually surprised by the overwhelming response which we got.
Yeah, I guess so. We just lost Jasbir Ji. Hopefully that connection comes back. We should be able to get through. I just want to be sure. Yeah, Sachin, we've lost Mr. Jasbir Ji. So we will just wait for him to
Absolutely.
get back. Yeah.
It has
But that was
indeed
amazing.
been absolutely.
It's an amazing story here. I'm quite impressed. And what I really like about him is he's all up and about to share everything openly,
Yeah. So it is indeed inspirational for, I think, for all, and especially the manufacturing fraternity. So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
for the manufacturing fraternity, that is a lot of learning from a small town from Rajpura, and then aspiring and going all the way. I like what he said, you can't beat them, you join them. As simple as that.
Sure.
And then bank will give you money ki cycle bhi girvi rakh ke denge. That's what you I
Yeah.
kind of connected with all that.
Am I audible, Ajit?
Yes, you're
Yeah,
back again.
he's
We lost you.
back.
We lost you there.
Sorry,
We lost you there,
something
Chief.
went wrong with the network. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we lost you there.
So
Please
that
go
was
ahead.
the time. I think once we got public, it was like a beautiful journey, and because we were having private equity players with us who helped us actually to be more stronger company on the corporate governance and other parameters. So that really helped us, and we have a very good relationship with all the three. So they're happy they made money out of investing in company. That's the main reason why we went public.
Amazing. Too good. Jasbirji, now we're going to deep dive into a little bit about manufacturing and learnings for all our members. So I'm going to actually bring in Sachin. There's no better person to take up those questions related to Sachin. But before I hand it over to you, Sachin, from all our channels, we've got hundreds of viewers today. That kind of actually showcases how people are very keen to understand this process of how you build this company. So over to you, Sachin,
I
for
think
more learnings.
it's not at all a surprise for me, because I think that's what we expected. I think I have been one of the viewers who has been very, very closely listening to what he's been saying, and I think all those words have been words of wisdom for any manufacturer. So this has indeed been a very inspirational journey that you have shared so far. So let's, as you mentioned, let's further deep dive into a couple of other aspects. And I want to start with that, as we've discussed, that you started from a small town and to a pan-India presence with more than 15 manufacturing plants. It's indeed commendable. So how did that whole journey take place, and what made you set up so many multiple units? So if you could just share your insights onto that.
So Sachin, there was a, as I explained, there was a vacuum for I would say a supplier who's really focused on QCDS, which I call quality, cost, delivery, and safety and innovation. And the reason why companies were going out of India and bringing those components were that a high quality supplier was missing in the country, and that also in vicinity to them. So we started setting up plants in vicinity to customer clusters. Normally, our factories are a kilometer or half a kilometer away from our key customers, and that gives us promptness. That gives us almost zero logistics costs, no packing costs. And earlier there was hassles between the states when we moved. VAT was there, sales tax was there, so that was also well taken care of. And once you are near to them, and if you are a good quality supplier, everybody prefers to buy, even if you are expensive at sometimes. So that's been a good strategy for us to be near to customer clusters.
I guess there's a problem with the internet in the northern part of India, because it was first you, now Sachin.
We still need to graduate to a high level of high quality of internet.
So now Delhi is having a problem. Fortunately, I'm in Mumbai, so that works out. But having said that, till Sachin comes in, you spoke about the whole manufacturing. The other most important thing on the Atmanirbhar program was the PLI, which the government actually spoke about, and that's become a focus sector. So the PLI schemes is about close to 5,000. I mean, earmark for the HVAC is about 5,000 crores. How has this benefited you in your growth journey?
Ajit, actually, PLI is going to be a game changer for for the component ecosystem of HVACs. I'll take you a little bit back. We have traveled as an industry, RAC industry has traveled a journey of few lakh units 20 years back to almost about 7 million units. But unfortunately, in 20 years, we still are importing compressors, we still are importing motors, PCBAs, copper, aluminium. So the reason, if we see why these are being imported, there are only two reasons. First is, of course, the price disability, and second is the lack of economies of scale. Now, since the industry is inching towards a 10 million mark, the economies of scale are well taken care of. If somebody wants to put up a compressor plant, his factory will be completely filled, and they can break even very easily now. But which was not the case if I speak about maybe 5 years back, because even out of 7 million in 2019-20, which were sold, 5 million got manufactured, 2 million were imported. So typically manufacturing was only 5 million. So now things have changed because of the policy intervention. So you can say that only 25% value addition was happening in the country in case of room AC is concerned. 75% of the bill of material was completely imported, be it copper, be it aluminium, be it compressor, be it PCB, anything. Now, PLI's main objective is to take this value addition to 75%. So as we are growing at a CAGR of almost about 14-15%, I would say that in next 1 decade, industry should have a volume of more than about 24 million or 25 million.
Okay.
So you can imagine in 1920, 5 million air conditioners were manufactured, having only 25% value addition, going to 25 million with 75% of value addition. So it's going to be a very compounding impact on the whole component ecosystem. I mean, we are, of course, into various functional component space. So we are definitely will be one of the largest appliers to the PLI as far as the application goes. But having said that, I'm seeing that very positive response. Recently, our additional secretary, DPIT, Anil Agarwal ji, they did a roadshow for prospective investor companies who will be participating. And I was surprised that 25 companies came even from outside India also. So many people are willing to invest now looking into these numbers. So I'm very confident that in 3 to 4 years from today, at least 80% of compressors will be available in the country. Almost 80 to 90% will be motors will be available. Hindalco has actually agreed to put up a 800 crore facility of copper and aluminium based on room air conditioning industry's request. They will be ready in 2 years' time. So aluminium and copper will also be supplied within the country. So that is, PLI is definitely going to be a scheme which will help us achieve a vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Awesome, fantastic. Yep, the Delhi internet network.
Yeah,
Mumbai is much better, guys. Mumbai is much better, guys. Mumbai is much better.
Yeah, I think technology has not been on our side today.
Ajit, it's raining heavily in Delhi these days. Mumbai.
Sure. So
Yeah,
I
so
guess
before I
you
hand
were.
over to,
Yeah,
I was
I
just
guess you-
talking about the PLI. I'll just ask him one more question on the PLI, and then you can continue with that PLI. Jasbir ji, what he said on the PLI. See, you're a fairly large enterprise as far as PLI is concerned. Do you think this really benefits the MSME, or should we consider it as a first round? You could expect more things happening under the PLI. What's your take on this?
See, actually, Ajit, the whole if we study the complete component ecosystem, there are MSMEs, there are SMEs, and there are large corporations, and it flows from the brands. Whosoever is, whether it is large or MSMEs associated, then further tier 2 supplier becomes the SMEs also. So once this component ecosystem comes to India, certainly it is going to benefit MSMEs. And if you study the PLI, the lower intermediaries threshold is such that any MSME can participate. So if somebody wants to participate in a heat exchangers or a motor or a PCB board, the threshold of investments are very small. You just need to invest 10 crore rupees per year and you are eligible for participating in the PLI. So that is something very good. So it's very well thought of scheme. Whereas on the other side, companies like Hindalco, who are willing to invest about 700, 800 crores, they will be applying in the top category on the component category system. So both the facilities have been given. It's a very flexible scheme for MSMEs and for everybody. And once, for example, the compressor starts getting manufactured here, now you need so many small parts for compressors. Once the PCBA starts getting manufactured here or motor starts getting manufactured here, that will be definitely delivered by MSMEs only.
Absolutely. That's music for all of us. I think so far we've been under the impression that limits are much, much higher for any MSME to really, get into this. But if there's an opportunity for us, then I'm sure the MSME would actively participate, because I'm sure for the larger companies also to do well, they need to have their supply chain of the MSME. Okay, so let's move further forward. I think when we heard your story, there were discussions on your organic as well as inorganic growth, and especially in last couple of years, there've been a couple of acquisitions, as you mentioned, in different directions. You did highlight, the thought process behind it, and but we would like to hear more about it to understand what made you get into all of those.
I know exactly what he's asking.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And
there.
Okay.
I just want to tell you guys, okay, Mumbai is backing Delhi today, okay? Just for a change, we are backing you guys big time. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sachin and Ajit, I think the reason we've acquired components companies, and we've acquired Sidwal, which is into air conditioners for trains and all. So first, I'll tell you the objective or the thought process behind PICL, which is a motor subsidiary of ours, and Ilgin, which is a electronics. So AC in last 6-7 years have traveled from normal fixed speed to inverter air conditioners. And if you strip down a bill of material of inverter air conditioners, the prime component or the most contributing component after compressor is the PCBA board. You know, we being a comprehensive integrated supplier for our industry, we did not have this vertical, and it's very functional component. If we point out, if we would have set up a unit, it would have taken us 4 to 5 years to convince the customers, because it is like, it's like supplying a braking system or an engine part in the automobile. So it's that critical part. If PCB stops, the AC will not even start.
Mhm.
So no company will give you approval without conducting proper approval cycles, and it is a long approval cycles. And then they will not give you 100% share of business on day one. So to cut down the whole 5 years journey, we thought that it is better to acquire it, and we found a good partner, Mr. Sim, who was owner of a Korean company based out of Noida in Pune, who was a little bit, they were aspiring to grow, but somehow they were lacking in the financial capabilities. So we came up on board and we supported the company, and that company is growing at about 20-25% now. Similarly, things happened for PICL Motor Company. We used to see, because when we started doing our R&D, a small component like motors used to come from China, and when after doing R&D, we felt a need that we need another motor or another sample. It used to be like a 90 days lead time or 60 days lead time. Whereas here the industry doesn't want that. You can't be waiting for that kind of thing. So we acquired the PICL. First, we acquired 80% of the company, and after 2 years, we took another 20% also. So now it is 100% owned by us, and we saw opportunity of exporting also motors, and we are glad to share that we are exporting to US, we are exporting to Middle East, and this journey started recently, but now I think with China plus one strategy, that is also playing very well. As far as Sidwal is concerned, we were debating internally in the team that how do we increase our addressable market while being a very focused player in heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So many things came up. Let us, we can see refrigerators or maybe washing machines or something like that, where we are already supplying components. But then I thought that, the mobility application of air conditioner is one space which is very unique and high technology space, and where now the desire of comfort travel is expanding and will further expand. And Ministry of Urban Development is very, very keen of bringing up more metro lines. The existing metro lines are expanding, and but all the metros, they need air conditioning. So we went ahead and spoke to earlier owner of Sidwal, Mr. Sidhu, and finally we handshook with him. We acquired 80% of the company in 2019 May, and in pandemic, though we had 2 years time, but he requested if we can prepone another 20%, so we did that. So now it is 100% owned by us. We've after acquiring, we've brought in a lot of product profile. The metro profile was very limited there. Now we are supplying to most of the coach builders like CRRC, Bemel, Medha, Alstom, and other for the air conditioners who supply. And in railways, we have a dominant share now for supplying for Rajdhani Shatabdi coaches, and Vande Bharat Express has been done by us. Both the two trains which came, train 18, and
Okay.
further expanding that portfolio.
Yeah, wonderful. And I expect that there'll be now few more acquisitions lined up in coming years. I think that's the way you are progressing.
Well, I can't comment that. But
Sure. No, no, I
has,
wasn't looking for a comment there. Just wanted to make a comment from my side on that front. Okay. The another interesting aspect that we're seeing is that the government has banned imports of air conditioners with refrigerants, and I'm sure this would have created a positive impact to your business as well as a similar kind of businesses. So, if you would like to share something about it and how do you see this impacting on long-term basis?
No, that was actually a very right, timely move by government, I would say, and we really applaud that initiative of DPIIT earlier, because almost 25% air conditioners earlier were getting imported into the country, and when the import duties went up from 10 to 20%, the number and the quantity did not come down. Now that surprised government a lot, because the shipment started getting routed from FTA countries. All these companies who were supplying from China, they had their own setups in Thailand, so they started supplying from Thailand. So larger objective of raising the custom duties did not get met. And then this was one of the very uniquely thought process, and debated also, discussed also internally, how to curtail down when room air conditioning was considered in the 12 growth sectors of by Piyush Goyal ji. And after that, this policy intervention started, and this was the first notification which came in last year September. And I think after that, the data is very encouraging, Sachin. Uh, the quarter of October, November, December, and the quarter of January, February, March saw 87% decline in imports because of
Yeah.
this policy intervention. And so we, as a solution provider, we did reach out to all those who were importing, and we gained some new customers. I cannot disclose the name of the customers, but in phase one, we gave them a solution of gas charging facilities, because we were at the cusp of the season. There was hardly any time to shift tools or make new tools. And in phase two, we are converting all those customers into full-fledged manufacturing companies. So either they will put up their own facilities where we will be supplying components, or they will buy from companies like us. So even our competitors have also benefited because of this intervention. And I would see that this again step is towards self-reliant India initiative. And today,
Absolutely.
if we see the data, almost 90% of air conditioners are getting manufactured now. Because of PLI, components will also start getting manufactured.
Fantastic. I think you're really moving in right direction. And I think we've been hearing similar stories from the other players at different platforms that we discuss. Also, I think at Rata, we've been trying to create a white paper on the components which are being imported as of now, so that we can present to the industry as to that these are the opportunities again available for you to localize and really start working on it. I think that's one effort that we've been looking at. Okay, so what we've seen in this journey, that you have had a very consistent high double-digit growth year on year. And you did mention that the industry is expected to grow. The long-term story you believe in this industry. So, what are the key factors that you feel are going to sustain this growth?
Okay, I'll give you example of refrigerator industry in 10 years. It moved from 5.5 million to almost 15 million now. So in last 10 years, right? And per capita incomes from 1100 traveled a journey of 1976 right now, and we are struggling there from last I would say 2 to 3 years. But I think we all will agree that we are heading towards a 5 trillion GDP in at least next 7-8 years time, if not earlier. Though our wish list is that it could happen sooner. But so per capita incomes move on a pro rata basis with the GDP. And per capitas are expected to touch to $4,000. Now, when this happens, air conditioning industry will certainly grow at least 3 times or 4 times from where it is today. But from manufacturing footprint, if we see, We were making only 5 million air conditioners earlier, and if we go to even 25 million in a domestic market, we should be adding a good number of opportunity here. And that's the reason why the CAGR of 14 to 15% is expected in our sector. And on one side, the energy conservation, because of inverterization, the recurring cost of per month usage of AC has come down. On other side, our country has also gone for a power adequacy situation. I would not say power surplus situation, but we are power adequate country now. So things have changed drastically on these two parameters. And on the other side, the purchasing incomes will grow because of our economy going from 2.6 to 3 or 5 trillion. So all these factors are positive for the industry. Not only, I would say, room AC industry, but the entire consumer durable industry, which is completely linked with the consumption theory. And earlier, I would say 10 or 15 years back, our population was sort of a liability, but that is going to become a biggest asset for us. That's where the consumption lies. And we all in HVAC industry are linked with that consumption theory.
Fantastic. Okay, so I think we could sense that gradually you're also been looking at diversification, starting from purely on the as a HVAC component. You have been gradually diversifying. So, do we expect more of that to happen in going forward? And do we see you getting into maybe the commercial side of the business as well? Any thought process on that? If you would like to share.
Sachin, we are we have a very clear roadmap there. So we have two categories of customers whom we serve. The first category of customers are dedicated heating, ventilation, air conditioning companies, where they are not a consumer durable companies, but they are pure heating, ventilation, air conditioning companies. So with them, we are graduating from room AC to commercial AC's components as well as finished goods also. We're creating our lines for VRVs as well as for 4-ton, 5-ton, 8-ton, and bigger units. On the other side, the second category of customer we serve are consumer durable companies who have all product profile like refrigerator, washing machine, microwave, and all. With them, we are expanding our portfolio into the non-AC category of components like case liner for refrigerators, washing machine tub assemblies, electronics for these products, microwave cavities, microwave electronics for microwave, fans, PCBs, and all. So that is these two strategies are very clear, and that is how we are going. So ultimate aim is to increase the wallet share within the existing customers.
Sure, that makes sense. Let me bring back Mr. Ajit.
Thanks, Sachin.
Yeah.
Just one question on that manufacturing. When typically as entrepreneurs, when we scale up, one is running an organization, but people eventually build the organization. How do you actually bring up this talent, at such a fast pace? And this is varied skill sets, right? And all of us face a challenge of attracting great talent. How did you manage to do that? And usually, sorry to interrupt you also there. Most of us tend to large companies attract talent based on the brand. In your case, it's even more challenging because you were not having a brand to showcase to give that. So how did you actually build this up?
Ajit, I think when you're a small company, that's a challenge that you cannot afford a good talent. So you have to manage with the existing resources you have, both in financial terms and the talent pool. But I think we were very focused, and there were certain key positions which we were able to convince them on our story going forward. And the team, the senior most team, which is a pretty old team now with us, they all are professionals from LG or Whirlpool or other places. And as they saw us growing and delivering on our commitments, then the larger pool also started getting attracted. So now, of course, we don't have any problem. But during those phase, during that journey of 6.5 crore company to 200, 300 crore company, that was the critical phase. So I think once you are clear in your strategy, and once you there are people who are sitting to support you, and our story has been pure make in India story. I always used to tell, sir, we need to prove that Indian companies are no less than anybody else. So if you really believe, please support us, and once you take a senior member on the position, and then you deliver on what you have said, then certainly the word spreads, and it moves on. And of course, somewhere when the balance sheets get stronger, and you have power to attract the right kind of a talent with you.
So amazing. So you are actually not recruiting people, you are actually selling your thoughts as to what the organization is all about and enrolling them into it
No,
completely.
that's important actually. I don't want to just fill the positions. It is, if the team does not share the same vision which I have, or which my company vision is. uh, Now we have a very clear vision of being the first choice of a customer. Theoretically it sounds very soothing to say, but when it comes to practicality of it, what does it convert into? It converts into, you have to be first in quality, you have to be first in delivery, you have to be first in cost, you have to be first in innovation, you have to be first in safety. Even if you are not first in any of them, you become first option rather than first choice. So there is a
Amazing.
very hairline difference. It is like hearing and listening. So
Yeah.
so
Amazing.
so that's so if your team has a conviction in your vision, then everybody moves with the same focus.
Wow. I just noticed in your IPO documents when you went public, you had said that, 75% of your business comes from 5 customers. Has that changed or is still the same?
No, it's drastically changed actually. You know. So I would say now, maybe those 5 customers have become 9 or 10 now.
Oh, so too good. That's true. But in this, we are a big startup country, correct? India is just evolving that way. Now, this is a question that we probably ask well-established brick and mortar players like yours. The current market capital that you have is of 10,000 crores, $1.3 billion. Some of the tech startups in the segments like educations are 10x. How do you reconcile to this fact? Because they haven't built the kind of infrastructures and the kind of stuff that you've done, but their valuation is 10x. How do you reconcile to that?
No, Ajit, it'll not be fair to actually correlate both the things, because of the reason that they are doing something out of box, which has never been tried and tested. They are creating a new barriers, new benchmark. We are not into a rocket science industry. We are into hardcore manufacturing. It is just a model of scaling up and doing right things at the right time, and bringing right kind of a strategies. So air conditioning, if you see, we go 116-year-old product, who has taken just a different kind of a shapes till today. I mean, nothing big has changed. Some brands have come, some have gone. That's it. But the one who has won has been actually playing on the technology part, and they are the one who are valued more, amongst the whole group. But as far as startups are concerned, they are doing amazing job. I mean, imagine, we wouldn't have been thinking that I'll sit in my village and I'll click and I'll get something on my own, without going to a shop on Sunday. So they definitely deserve those valuations, and the kind of, I would say, attention they get. So somewhere valuations are also correlated with the kind of attention and the kind of minds who are actually looking into that story. Now imagine Amazon story, where in probably in 1 quarter or so, 10 years back, they were just at 6 billion, and now it's 110 billion. So that's the compounding factor which they are getting on it.
Since you spoke about Amazon, the
But we
biggest trend.
seriously, we
Sorry.
get inspired from those stories rather than taking it other way around.
Awesome. Now, since you spoke about Amazon itself, that's a new trend that you're seeing in distribution, direct to consumer. Have you ever thought of a model like this, both domestic or maybe in the international markets, of going directly to consumers?
No, that is very clear, Ajit. We will not come into our brand, because we are a comprehensive integrated solution provider. So we are into B2B space. We understand that space very well. Now imagine there are about 50 odd brands. If we come into brand, I will be 51st in the row. So giving away my leadership position and becoming 51 in the row, and then creating a conflict with our existing customers. So it doesn't make any sense. But so we do have our brand in mobility applications. Sidwal is a strong brand, which is known everywhere. But that doesn't create a conflict in my existing ecosystem.
Wow. But you have a full stack. You have manufacturing, distribution, your own software, services would be a huge value proposition to the market, and in turn, stock market valuation. How do you plan to leverage this strength in the future? Because you've pretty much everything in there, components to manufacturing, everything you've got in place. How would you actually end up leveraging this entire stack?
So Ajit, somewhere strategies are very clear that if 100 air conditioners are manufactured in the country, we are hungry, growth hungry, and progressive company. So we would like that all 100 are produced by us. But today, fortunately or unfortunately, we are doing 24.6% of that. But other than that, what we are not doing should have something or else of Amber in it. That's the way we are taking the whole story, and that's how the whole ecosystem of both components as well as finished goods is getting built up.
Awesome. So, a lot of our trade partners are being challenged by online brands. I mean, it's been happening in all sectors. It's been a distribution disruption that is happening. Now, specifically to Amazon and Flipkart, since they have these private labels, do you see them challenging these current established brand players through a direct to consumer brand of their own in HVAC and room air conditioning?
Well, anything can happen because we have seen markets drastically changing. If we see a trend of 2003 till 2011, LG was undisputed leader, having 28% market share. Samsung used to be 18%. Then Japanese came into picture, and there was a lot of disruption. Volta started asset light strategy, and they become a dominant player, and the whole ecosystem today, Voltas is number one, having 26% market share. So in future, I would not close my mind that anything can't happen. It all depends on the product profile, the advertisement, the kind of pricing they bring on the table. But if we correlate somewhere with the China model, I would say that in China the online penetration increased, but penetration increased of the brands itself. Today also, if we see the penetration of online air conditioner sale has moved from 12% to 20% in last 2 to 3 years time. But who are selling? Those 20% is not only Amazon and Flipkart. You can get LG also online. You can get Voltas, Daikin, everybody is available online. So nobody is trying to lose their market shares just because the whole ecosystem is transitioning from a distribution model to an online model. So I would say that yes, they will get a tough competition. But again, don't want to close my eyes and mind towards that nothing can change.
So even if you think for air conditioners, because air conditioners is services driven, you need someone to install, you need to give service support, while in a mobile phone or a television, it's pretty much plug and play. So even in an air conditioning, which has got services attached to it, you think that disruption could come?
Well, I mean, if we see the amount of ACs being sold by Amazon and Flipkart through their private label, they started 4 years back. So on their lower base, they have been growing by 25-30%. So they are gaining grounds, I would say, gradually. Now it depends on whether they will be able to completely come up with the products which are required, in future, and on time and at right cost. Whether they will be right now, the story so far has been subsidizing the products, or somewhere curtailing down the whole channel inventory and then directly selling to it. So I would say that let's wait and watch. So it is to be seen, because earlier we used to think that this product, exactly what you said, that it needs a service. It will not be easy play. But since last 4 years, we are seeing the numbers growing.
Correct. And the other important thing is, across consumer durables, you're seeing devices, IoT devices getting connected to it, and most of these durables becoming smart devices. What do you see, I mean, in terms of will you catch up with these innovations when it comes to air conditioners?
So we are a company who's into complete solution providing, and we already have these solutions available with us. Every new feature is a cost, so we offer them. Some of the customers pick, somebody doesn't pick, and but yes, we are totally geared up for getting you air conditioner where you can talk in two languages, Hindi and English, and say you don't need a remote handset. You can just say तापमान 26 डिग्री कर दो, So so those kind of solutions are ready. So but yes, again, when you calculate it a bill of material, it's a cost involved there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
But
amazing.
that
You
is
gave us
going to be, because more homes are going to be smarter. Automation in homes is now in thing. If somebody is planning a new home, somewhat automation is there. So, and that is what is linked to it. So everything comes to a desire of comfort living. So connecting those desire of comfort living products, when you are lazy, you just want to enter your home and your AC should be chilled, your room should be chilled. You don't want to wait. It's like I have to just open a tap and I don't want to wait for 2 minutes to come have a hot water. So that kind of things is a future. Energy will be another part, main role, where I see that more energy efficiency will play a good role in future. We've already traveled to 20-25% reduction, but another 20% should come in next 4 to 5 years time.
amazing. So, Jasbirji, before we come to the end of this, I've got to take two takeaways for all the MSME manufacturers who are actually watching us today. You have, most of the components that we use in our industry. I mean, you would also be sourcing and you would be also importing. Do you have some guidelines where people who are aspiring to get into manufacturing, what kind of components should they actually get into, or which are the areas that they should look forward to?
So, Ajit, if you strip down bill of material of air conditioner, room AC, I'm talking about. Forget about let us leave the top 3-4 categories contributor like compressor or aluminium or copper, which are really capex heavy, or maybe PCB or motors. Other than that, if we you pick up heat exchangers, assemblies, you pick copper tubing fabrication, you pick wiring harnesses, you pick EPS parts, you pick carton boxes, execution labels. So many things goes into air conditioner, rubber grommets, rubber parts. All these parts are required in the supply chain. So uh, I believe that that's available on the net also. Otherwise, we are happy to share some of the bill of material parts of B and C category, where I personally believe that MSME can play a very, very big role, and they should play a big role now, because since the component ecosystem will shift to India, this is the right time to invest in these kind of products.
Amazing. So we are at the association. We are definitely reaching out to you because, as Sachin said, we're building a white paper on component manufacturing to give people a start as to start from here. This is where the need is, and you think that once they get into these things, your company itself could be a customer for these products which they manufacture.
Why not? I mean, we are expanding. We are bringing up 3 new plants now. 2 greenfield facilities are getting built in Supa and in South. So we will be almost 17 plants at the end of the year, and we definitely need good suppliers, credible suppliers who can support. Without suppliers, it's like a complete spinal cord. So you can't if you have to be a good QCD supplier, you need uh, one of the best supply chain arrangements with your suppliers.
Awesome. There's been a fantastic discussion. So before we close the discussion, I have one last question, which you need to, because there are plenty of viewers who our viewership is almost double now, and there are plenty of manufacturers who are MSMEs who are aspiring to be manufacturers. What's your message to them? You've been in the space, so what's your message to them?
So see, manufacturing is one space. I believe that next decade or maybe 15 years belong to India consumption theory, and without supply chains, proper robust supply chains, it's very difficult to attain that model of self-reliant India. So manufacturing, please don't be scared of manufacturing. I think it's a beautiful space, and industry want a good suppliers. And now, fortunately, bankers are supportive. Interest rates have come down. There are loans which are available for long tenures. So earlier things were more challenging. When we started, I remember 17% interest rates, and the tenure of loan बहुत ज़्यादा सिफारिश लगती थी तो 4 साल का मिलता था. So so things have changed now. So the risk appetite is more, from as a support is, and ease of doing business has really changed now. You're not troubled as it was the case of 15 years back. So please, I would say more the merrier, and let us create that component ecosystem which is required for the country in HVAC sector.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It's been fabulous talking to you and hearing your journey. I think the messages are just, you've seen all the messages that is coming. There's only one single line: inspiring story. What an amazing journey.
Thank you.
That's
Ajit
the
and
only
Sachin.
feedback that has been just coming through and through. What do you say, Sachin? 70 minutes? Completely clued up?
Absolutely. I think Mr. Jasbir is a perfect brand ambassador for the Manufacturers Forum, because that's, I think that's how any manufacturer aspires to proceed. So it's been a great learning session. And most importantly, I think it's been very inspiring. For all the viewers, especially the manufacturers who've just started, or even I would say the ones who've been in the field, that they can really dream for whatever they want to and can really become really big to whatever extent they wish to. So I think that's something fantastic that has come out very clearly. I don't think there's so many successful stories in our industry, and that's where the Amber story really stands out. Also, I think this is such a unique story where OEM branding company has seen such a scale. I think you would see some of those stories where somebody has been able to establish a brand and been able to move forward, but to do that, being a OEM supplier is indeed commendable. But I would also say, and you would have seen some of the comments, and we were discussing when Mr. Jasbir lost his connection. I think what really stood out today was the candid approach, the straightforward approach with which Mr. Jasbir interacted. I think the biggest strength is the clarity of thought that he has, the vision, and I think so that's what has led to this wonderful journey for Amber. And I'm sure it has still a long way to go, and they'll keep inspiring us and encouraging the entire industry to move in a similar fashion. So fantastic. And I think thank you, Mr. Jasbir, for your valuable time today.
Thank you, Sachin and Ajit, for having me here on the show, and a very interactive session. I really loved it, every part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you
happy
so
to
much.
support
Thank you very
in
much.
any way, wherever you want any data, or you are making a paper, any inputs is required, please just feel free to contact me.
We'll be in touch with you, Chief.
Yeah, we've already appointed you as brand ambassador.
Yeah, that's right.
Without pay. No endorsement.
Thank you. Sir.
Okay. Thank you. Everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. What a super session. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Sure.